like a kind of an explosion. LSD suddenly was on the street and was manufactured by a lot of people because immediately when it had a high market value, I remember my first experience in New York, in Greenwich Village, where I was handed over a so-called cube, a sugar cube with a few drops of an LSD solution on it. It was handled for $5, $6 a piece, later perhaps for $10. Well, that was a value that 1 gram of LSD suddenly had a value of a few $100,000 of dollars. And this element, which changed dramatically the whole situation, was for the firm the moment to say, now we have to stop it.
Sandoz withdrew their LSD from sale, but it was already too late. Black market supplies of the drug were everywhere, including Britain.
If you haven't heard of LSD, you will. It's a safe bet that this drug will make headlines in this country, as it has for some years in America.
How do you mean?
Well, you've had a drug. Has it done anything to you yet?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's affecting me.
In what way?
Colours have become quite a lot brighter. Also, I'm getting slight paisley effects in the sky.
What do you mean by that?
Well, all the bits of oxygen are forming paisley patterns.
The young of the educated middle classes particularly were attracted by the instant liberation LSD seemed to offer. Among them, Rosie Boycott, co-founder of the feminist magazine Spare Rib.
Incredible looking back to think how people just took it like candy. And in fact, were told it was candy. It had names that were like candy, you know, sunshine and yellow, orange, and everything that sounded like children's sweets. And you tended to do it a bit. I mean, it became lots of people who would say do it every Saturday night. It became part of their life. They might go to a job in the city during the rest of the week and adopt what you might call very normal, or what we would call then a straight way of life. And at the weekend, they would metaphorically let their hair down.
Now, so far, are these visual things the only effects you've had?
No.
What other effects?
It's all to do with colour. It's all to do with round, with shape. Everything's colour. Everything, you know, is... Oh, it must be to do with orange. Not only with orange. Oh. I haven't seen colour. I've lived in a monochromatic world. I can't use colour. I can do everything.
The romantic view of psychedelic drugs as the road to personal and social liberation was not shared by all. Politically inclined members of the counterculture soon discovered contradictions.
Certainly in my case, the whole idea of having anything to do with the drug culture ran up against a very big brick wall was when I started to get involved in feminism. And as I say, it didn't work at all. The LSD was for the thinkers and it wasn't for the doers. And there was a real unreality in the drug culture, which was largely made up by the fact that it was actually jolly easy to get by with very little money, that you could be sort of hovering on the edge of quite a twilight world, in that you weren't up against any sort of bridge of commerce, earning money, definitely never paying taxes or bothering about any things like that, which were the real world. That was the real straight world which you wanted to overthrow. And yet, of course, you were living on it. And that was the ultimate irony, that it was that world and that huge consumer boom that we were all experiencing in America and in England that was supporting that dream. So you lived in a place where you thought, I'm really changing the world, but in fact you were escaping the world.
LSD is far worse even than heroin, I think, because of its action on certain people again. And now we've had experience where people who have taken LSD have gone in through plate glass windows. We have people who are inside with LSD coming out through plate glass windows. So I don't know what direction these people are moving in.
By 1967, a strong public reaction against LSD had set in. The media and the government were busy pointing out the dangers.
Any stress in this rising phase will trip this man into a bad trip. He will have the same effect as the man who is given the material and doesn't know he's getting it. He will be terrified. He's not seeing pretty visions, he's seeing monsters. He's losing his mind and he feels it going. He is intensely, extremely, terribly uncomfortable. If he is alone, if it's possible for him, there's only one escape from this discomfort. That's suicide. This man will kill himself.
Exaggeration was commonplace as public debate about the dangers and value of LSD intensified. Scores of books and hundreds of scientific articles appeared, and for a while psychedelic drugs became a cause célèbre. At the center of the storm was the distinguished psychiatrist Sidney Cohen, one of the US government's chief advisors on psychedelic drugs.
Well, LSD can do many adverse things. They are done almost never under controlled and supervised conditions. They happen when people take it casually and randomly. And when this happens, this is news. And news is what has given LSD its current reputation.
Particular concern was caused by a widely publicized, though subsequently discredited, report that LSD might damage chromosomes. Lurid parallels were drawn with thalidomide. Other dangers, however, were real enough. 20 years on, we're better able to assess the true risks of LSD. The coordinator of the government-funded Standing Committee on Drug